Friend, today we're talking about just needing a little peace. Do you ever drink at the end of the day just to calm the noise? That busy to do list racing through your mind. Those thoughts that keep nagging. I should be working on that. I should call my friend. I should work out. I've still got to send that email and that thing tomorrow. It feels like it can never end. And then we have a drink. And for a moment, that noise gets quiet. A little bit of peace. Of course, somewhere inside we know it's not real peace. It doesn't last long and it comes with a hefty price tag. But in that moment, it can still feel worth it, even just for a little while. And here's what I want to say about that. Needing peace is such a beautiful desire. We all need peace. There is nothing wrong with you for wanting it. The longing is right. It's just that alcohol was never able to truly give us what we're looking for. 2 Peter 3, verse 14 says, Beloved, while you are waiting for these things, strive to be found by Him at peace. And before we even get to the strive part, I want to pause on the first word, beloved, because that changes everything. So often when we hear an instruction from God, we immediately turn into pressure. We start measuring ourselves against it, thinking about all the ways we're falling short, especially when it comes to being peaceful. So if you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, stressed, or just stretched thin, it's easy to think, well, I should be more peaceful. What's wrong with me? But Peter doesn't begin with correction. He begins with identity. Beloved. Before there's anything to do, there's something to remember that you are deeply loved. You are God's beloved, and anything He asks of us comes from that place. Not condemnation, not pressure, not disappointment. His invitation to peace isn't because He's frustrated, it's because He wants something good for us. Then Peter says, strive to be found by Him at peace. And I find those two words so interesting together because they almost seem at odds. When I think of striving, I think of effort, pushing, working really hard, making great effort towards something. And yet, strive to be found at peace. What that tells me is that peace is something we actively get to participate in. We have more say over it than we think sometimes. More than the external circumstances we exhaust ourselves trying to control. Peace is actually something we can cooperate with and cultivate, and that's great. As a coach, I often encourage my clients to make their goals emotional rather than behavioral. A behavioral goal sounds like, I want to stop drinking. And often that immediately brings up feelings of deprivation, fear, all sorts of reasons associated how we felt like we failed before. An emotional goal is different. It's about who you want to become and how you want to feel. I didn't have this framework when I stopped drinking, but looking back, I realized my goal was never actually sobriety. My goal was to become a more patient parent with my kids. I was constantly exhausted and irritable and losing my temper. I hated that version of myself. And I realized I was never going to become the mom I wanted to be while alcohol was still part of the equation. So the deeper goal wasn't sobriety, the deeper goal was actually patience. And this verse made me wonder, what if the goal was peace? What if you genuinely strived to be found by Him at peace? How would that change your day? What would you say yes to? What would you say no to? How would you protect your mornings or your evenings, your attention, your energy, your time with God? What would you need to let go of to create more space for peace? This has been challenging me, especially lately, as I reflect on the contrast between last year during cancer treatment and now. Last year, life slowed right down. There were things I couldn't do, things I had to let go of. And strangely, in the midst of one of those hardest seasons of my life, there was a, an increase in peace that came from that slowing, a stripping back, that simplicity. Now life is full again, busy, normal, and I'm so grateful for that. But with that has come loss of some peace. And I've been asking myself, if peace was my goal, what would I do differently? Because peace doesn't just happen by accident. I believe it's ultimately a gift from the Lord. It's a fruit of the Spirit. The more we abide in Him, the more we experience His peace. But this verse reminded me that we also have a part to play. We cooperate with that gift. We make choices that create space for peace to flourish, or not. Alcohol promises peace, but it quietly steals it. What follows that temporary is more anxiety, more exhaustion, more disconnection, more dysregulation, and less capacity to meet our lives with presence. It takes the very thing that we're reaching for and makes it harder to find. So here's the question, and I want to leave this with you too, is what if your goal was not simply to drink less? What if your goal was peace? What if throughout your day you began asking, what is bringing more peace into my life, more peace into my home, my mind, my body? Because when we start orienting our lives around peace, we start to see more clearly the things that take it away. And I wonder if we structured our days around being led by peace, whether by the end of the day, that pull toward a drink wouldn't be quite as strong because we'd have been nurturing the very thing we were hoping alcohol would give us in the first place. So this week, I simply want to leave you with Peter's invitation. Beloved, strive to be found by him at peace. Not pressured, not perfect, not performing, just his beloved, learning to cooperate with the gift of peace he longs to grow within you.